Yuliy looks like a simple, ordinary man, but he is an overpowered werewolf who has hunted vampires for centuries. However, one day he discovers that his brother is a vampire. In the middle of Shanghai, under the careful watch of Kershner, a royal vampire, a secret meeting happens. Regular people, unaware of the hidden danger, mix as Kershner talks to them, his voice showing both control and attraction. In the crowd, women look longingly at certain men, showing their admiration clearly. Meanwhile, Yuliy, carrying his bag with purpose, meets with Professor Willard, leader of the Jaegers. Time pauses for a moment as the professor asks Yuliy if he's ready to leave. Before Yuliy can answer, Dorothea, who drives for the professor, interrupts, urging them to make their next move strong. Yuliy, always serious, suggests a quieter approach. Across town, as Kershner finishes speaking, glasses drop to the ground together, showing a dangerous turn. Faces that were once friendly change with hunger as sharp teeth come out, biting unsuspecting necks. Darkness covers the following bloodbath. Meanwhile, Philip, the young expert among the Jaegers, plays his violin for people passing by. Fallen, an experienced Jaeger with Irish roots, suddenly removes two people, signaling to Philip that it's time. Agatha, another royal vampire, warns Kershner about the approaching danger from the Jaegers, leading to quick action. On the rooftop across from the vampire group, the Jaegers gather, but Yuliy's impatience shows as he smells blood. With quick, firm action, Yuliy jumps through a window, using a vampire as a landing pad. Using his spear, he defeats the vampires with skill. Meanwhile, Dorothea, Fallen, and Philip shoot at the vampires, standing firm next to their impulsive friend. Afterwards, Professor Willard talks about Kershner's sneakiness, and Philip scolds Yuliy for going alone. As they leave Shanghai by boat, the professor warns Yuliy about the dangers of acting without thinking. At the same time, in Japan, the police find a disturbing scene of mutilated bodies, a sign of what's to come. The Jaegers appear in Tokyo, standing out in the busy streets. For Yuliy, it's his first trip to this foreign place. Quickly, they are taken away, arriving just as Major Hideyomi Iba learns about an escaped criminal, Kurikate, who is responsible for the morning's gruesome discoveries. Instead of blaming the Hayako party like they first thought, Mochizuki's conclusion makes the Major angry, leading to a short argument before they leave. Meanwhile, at the Baron's house, the Jaegers gather while Miss Nao Ryoko finishes her practice fight, noticing the unfamiliar guests, especially Yuliy. At the same time, Professor Willard talks with the Baron about Japan's recent troubled nights. Elsewhere, Yuliy wanders away from his friends, attracted by the smell of flowers. In the garden, Miss Ryoko steals glances at him until she gathers the courage to talk to the mysterious werewolf. While talking about flowers, Yuliy reveals something that surprises her. When Yuliy returns to the Baron, he talks about the Hayako party's plans to go against the establishment, and introduces the famous fugitive, Harukate Guakairu. Meanwhile, the Jaegers wonder why Kershner came to Japan. Dorothea's strong belief in their agency's information clashes with Fallen's practical idea that Kershner might just be looking for food. Yuliy's disagreement shows the gap between human and vampire lives. Philip's playful behavior causes some tension, but Fallen stops it with a kind gesture. Professor Willard interrupts their bonding, telling them to rest for the challenges ahead. On another side, Major Iba and his boss plan secretly, with the Major wanting to be more involved in their secret missions, which his boss approves of with a knowing smile. In a dark room, Kurikate, who is far from innocent, is chained up, visited by the sinister Agatha. Even though he says he didn't want to be freed, she enjoys her plans for him. Meanwhile, at the police station, the inspector's angry speech to his team is suddenly stopped by news about V-Shipping's representatives. He welcomes the professor and Dorothea with a smile, giving them the books they need from Home Affairs. Somewhere else, during the night, a patrol officer sees a brutal murder, and he himself is killed by a vampire. At the same time, the professor notices a strange pattern in Kurikate's way of doing things, seeing that he started killing anyone after he escaped, not just men. While they discuss this, news of another murder in Arasaka makes the professor call the Jaegers. They hurry to the crime scene, talking about how Kurikate might have escaped, ignoring stories of people flying around as just fantasies. With suspicion growing, Agatha walks through a dark alley and meets Yuliy, whose sharp senses give her away. She fights with him, but Dorothea helps briefly, though Agatha's helpers come to her aid, taking her away in a car. While his friends chase after them, Yuliy jumps onto the roof of their escaping car, determined to catch them. As they chase each other, Yuliy fights on top of the moving car, dodging bullets before giving a final hit. In all the chaos, Agatha, not giving up, faces Yuliy, surprised by something she sees in his eyes. As Yuliy cuts off Agatha's parts, she falls into the ocean, seeming beaten. But because of her royal background, she doesn't sink like you'd expect, but floats instead. When the Jaegers arrive, the professor scolds Yuliy, telling him to stay with them. Ignoring the warning, Yuliy jumps off the bridge, wanting to defeat Agatha, but sniper Mikhail Jirov quickly stops him, making him fall into the water.